The following program may contain strong language and mature content. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, and peace and blessings to you. It's a great day. It's a blessed day. And if you don't know anything else on this day, know that you deserve to be blessed. Woo! Hey, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening, and peace and blessings to you. It's a great day. It's a blessed day. It's a Monday. And if you don't know anything on this Monday, know that you deserve to be blessed. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm coming to position. So I want to just give you a little something right now. We just heard a loud boom, and I have no lights in my house. So I'm sitting out in the car. So y'all forgive me. But talk about position. I'm in a position where I can come out here and get in the car and still talk to y'all. So I'm hoping that y'all are receiving me. I'm hoping that y'all are getting me. If you can hear me, if you can see me, give me some thumbs up, show me some hearts, show me some love. Y'all come talk to me and all that good stuff, because the show must go on. The show must go on. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the second part of our three-part series, and tonight we're talking about position. And because we're talking about position, I got two great gentlemen, black kings that are doing it, that are pushing, and I think that they are in the right position for us to have this conversation tonight. So first off, I want to bring in, he's my brother from another. We've been around. He is an executive director of the Normal Anomaly Initiative. He's a entrepreneur. He's a community activist. He pushes, he pulls, he gets you to where you need to be. Ian L Haddock. Hey, brother.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
You know, light, bright, and full
okay. Okay. Come on, dope, black and gay. You better be. You better. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring on my second guest, because I like to do all the other stuff with them. So I want to bring on again, he's an entrepreneur, he's a businessman, he's doing it for the community. He's a doctor. There's a PhD. Y'all look for it on the end of his name when he come on. Look. My special guest tonight, Donta Morrison. Doctor. Hey, doctor.
Hey, my brothers. What's good? What's good?
Nothing much. Thank you all. Hey, thank you all for being on.
Is that us, Ian?
No, he just want us to be talking to each other.
I mean, listen. You stopped completely. You froze completely.
Oh, did I?
You did. It's okay. You good now.
We can hear you now.
Look. If I freeze again, y'all just start talking to each other like you said.
We'll just make it happen. We'll make it happen. It's gonna be okay.
I am so sorry. We're making it work, Joe. We're making it work. All right, gentlemen. I know that tonight I wanted you all on, but we also are celebrating something today, or we're observing a special day. And if you would, for me, Ian, can you let our viewers know what that special day is and why we observe it?
Yes, absolutely. Today is National Black HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. This is a day to end stigma, to really push what we've been doing for the last couple decades, and innovate that thing, and really get to the end of the epidemic, which is HIV. And what that really means, and I just want to be clear to the viewers, because many times when we say that, it really brings a connotation of leaving out people that are living with HIV, but really it's including them in the conversation, right? Including them in the treatment, including them in the path towards ending it, because we need people living with HIV. And people like me who are on PrEP and are not living with HIV or are using whatever they're using. It also includes you too, because I mean, you're doing the do.
Okay, doing the do. Yes.
I'm trying not to
yes,
curse on
indeed.
your show today.
You know what? Do what you got to do, but it's been a minute. So you have free reign. You have free reign. Oh, doctor. So also, with it being National Black HIV/AIDS Awareness Day, it's also Black History Month. Can you give us a little nugget of why? Oh, we going of why Black History Month means so much to those of us who are LGBTQIA plus?
Wow, that's like a two-part question, because oftentimes those who you do identify as LGBTQ, our heroes are not recognized during this month. And
Right.
if they are, it's the ones who are not open, are the ones that we know the truth, but the overall population is not aware. Um, and it's really funny that you asked that question, because we already, being black and gay, we're already on an intersection, and trying to navigate two separate spaces. And most folks don't understand that being black is one thing, as a whole, but then you add that gay to it, that's a whole nother beast that we have to deal with. So I think Black History Month is important for our black side.
Yes.
Our black side needs to be affirmed, needs to be recognized, and our contributions need to be honored, because so much of what we contributed to America and this country has been attributed to white people.
Yeah.
They stolen so many of our ideas and concepts and talents to build this great nation, and then kind of just glaze over our history. We used to only have a week. Negro Awareness Week. We only had 7 days. And
Okay.
then, President Ford made it Black History Month, because he realized, well, they should get a whole month. And then folks are always saying, well, why we get the shortest month of the year? We got this month because it's Abraham Lincoln's birthday. And Carter G. Woodson, Grover, he thought that Abraham Lincoln was a pivotal figure, in the emancipation and getting blacks freed. So let's recognize him.
Right.
It's whatever. But I think that this month is very important. I can't really speak to the LGBT part of it, because I still think we're slacking in that area. I don't think the overall black community recognize the contributions of black gay individuals.
Right, indeed. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I had both of these gentlemen on, because they're gonna shoot straight from the foot. They're gonna tell you exactly how it is, straight up, no chaser. I could use a little Coke or something with it, but you know what I mean. They're gonna give it to you straight up, no chaser. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we like to do, since I have my two black kings on with me today, before we get started, which we've already started, I want to go ahead and clear the air and take a breath. I want to take a breath for National Black HIV and AIDS Awareness Day, because so many people are not aware of how important their breath is, meaning their life. Meaning, just because you're HIV positive, that doesn't mean that you don't deserve to live or you don't deserve to be here. And then also those that need to be educated on what HIV is, what AIDS is, the stages, how transmitted, all these things. It's still 2022 and people are still up in the air.
It's a great pose. I love the pose.
He's giving it.
You say what? Oh, I'm giving poses?
Because you froze again, but it's all good.
Y'all can still hear me though, huh?
No.
Yeah. Now I can.
No. But we're going to breathe in it. We're going to breathe through it.
We're gonna get one good breath in for sure. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm gonna do is count to 3, and then we're gonna take a deep breath in. And it's a 5 count. As my brother would tell me, it's one of those counts to where I can almost kill somebody because they're holding their breath too long. But we're gonna do that tonight though, right? For everybody out there that needs to let it go and release, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I want you to do is to loosen those shoulders up. Some of y'all might be a little young and might not know who Tina Turner is, but we want to get a little rolling on the river action going on. I want you to take those shoulders back and open that chest up. And on the count of 3, we're going to take a deep breath. Now, on this one, I'm not going to count it out, but I will move my hands. All right, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, deep breath in. And you talking about doing the breath in this car? Jesus. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we're on that third one. We're on that third breath, ladies and gentlemen. And on this breath in particular, I want you to make some noise. I want you to take in whatever it is that's bothering you, if and buts, concerns, whatever it may be, take it in. And then I want you to blow it out to the furthest reaches of the universe or to the deepest part of the ocean, wherever it is. But when you blow it out, I want you to make some noise. That's what I want you to do, is to make some noise. Y'all with me? All right, on the count of 3, I'm going to take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, deep breath in. And
That smells good.
You say what?
I'm glad my breath smells good.
We ain't wearing no mask.
Yes. We couldn't have did it with the mask on. I am going to say this, though. Most of y'all out there, y'all need to wash them masks. Y'all need to wash them.
Right,
Bruh,
please.
That kickback is real. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we didn't clear the air. We here at the...
He ain't finna worry me with all this glitching.
Period.
So, Ian, what you want to talk about? You're not finna worry with this glitching type.
Probably some bad bees.
Right, you are not finna worry with this glitching. You froze again. You ain't finna get on our nerve with all this now. We got lives to save.
Look, y'all, I'm trying.
You were doing your best.
Oh, Lord.
So
okay.
Pose the first question. That way, if you freeze, we already in the flow.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? So my first question is, so I want to go ahead and give a definition of position, right? Position is to put or arrange someone or something in a particular place or way.
Position. Ian, don't give a dirty answer, please.
Say that again.
Don't, because I know you and I know your works.
Well, position.
A
particular way in which someone or something is placed or arranged.
We got that part.
We got that. So you asking what's a position?
Yeah. So today, look. Like I said, it's free reign. Right? So, what is your position?
Okay. So I think that's a good start, but I want the doctor to start. So
no, I was gonna follow your lead because you're gonna set the tone for how I answer.
Okay.
So I want you to lead.
What is my position? I think it's a couple different things, right? So obviously, position as a gay man, speaking from a gay lens, I'm going to talk about like sexual position, and it all depends. No, I'm playing. It really doesn't all depend. Not on anybody else, just on what I decide. But aside from that, no, for real, I think position is a good place to start when we're thinking about building infrastructure, right? When we're talking about like building infrastructure within the community, a lot of us we have the vision, but we're not in position, right? We have these ideas around how communities should look. We have a lot of people using their Twitter fingers and things like that, but not a lot of people that want to do the work to get into position. And I look at people like Dr. Morrison, if you would,
if you're nasty,
who I've had the joy of watching for a long time, just through social media, and then just recently meeting him and like seeing the journey of a person who really believes in the work, and really is super humble. And over the past couple of years has taught me a lot about humility and a lot about walking in your greatness. But I imagine, like me and like you, Titan, that position came with a lot of work, probably a lot of humbling moments, probably a lot of difficulty and strategy and mentors and, all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of work to get in position. And I think that's a good place to start when we're talking about like building infrastructure, community mobilization, community engagement. It's like, how do you take your vision to be in position?
Yes.
And I think also it ties into, when you think about position, it kind of correlates with platform. What is your platform? Oh, Love Face XYZ online strips without clothing is blowing up over there on YouTube. Titan got a little spam follower. They wearing your YouTube out.
I don't know what's happening. I'm gonna take it as a sign, Doctor. Right. I'm gonna take it as a sign. I'm blowing up.
Right. No, I think about platform and position and how they kind of intersect and correlate one another. Because once you realize what your platform is, you're able to get in position to operate on that platform. And some people, they say, well, my platform is just focusing on this one specific audience or this one specific topic. And I recall when we had the civil we've had multiple civil unrest, but during the whole George Floyd season, a lot of folks were looking to me to say something and go public and go live and yada, yada, yada. Well, to be honest, social justice on that front is not my platform. Right. So of course I can speak as a Black person as far as the anger that I felt and the frustration I felt, but to give a true political response, that's not, and if I can't be consistent with that, then I'm out of position if I start talking about certain things that have nothing to do with what's in my wheelhouse. And quite often social media, people are out of position with their responses, with their involvement. And it's like, know your platform, know your genre, know your skill set, and stay in that position. Otherwise, you're going to be just a convoluted mess because you're involved in all these other facets of just talking points, and then you can't sustain anything because you're all over the place. That's why I love when I talk to Ian. Ian is 100% keep it real, true. Period. If you want a true, real, honest conversation about sex, sexual behaviors, human sexuality, what people are doing to put them at risk, I would go to Ian because it's a no holds barred conversation, because that is Ian's platform. Ian is positioned to educate people about that. Now, I'm not going to go to Ian for something that is outside of his wheelhouse just because I know Ian and he's available. Ian, talk about this. And he's like, okay, I'll do it, but I'm not really in position to give, good commentary or feedback. But some folks jump on every single opportunity to talk, and then they're out of position and they're not making a difference. They're really making damage. I think it's key. It's important to know that you are in your proper lane and you're operating in your proper assignment. That's how we all can make a difference. So even those that are quiet, we don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. Or they're using wisdom and remaining silent because they know that I'm not the person to talk about that, Right. But people got to get to that level of awareness and that level of self-control and self-discipline to realize that you need to stay in not a box, but in your lane. And when you stay in your lane, you are more effective and you have a greater reach because people will trust you because you are now operating out of integrity versus just being a bobblehead all over the place.
And I totally agree. I think sometimes people will say, oh, well, like you said, because you have PhD behind your name, I can come to you about anything and everything. And I'm a stickler on, I'm not going to tell you something that I don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not my position. I'm not in a position to tell you something I don't know. So like you said, Ian is a guru over here on that, then let Ian go at it. I may be around, but that doesn't mean I'm going to step in for Ian and be like, hey, this, because Ian can only do it that way. So Ian, so really quickly, did you find that the position that you hold right now, whether it be community, whether it be...
It was getting good. I need this question.
Right. It was getting juicy. It was prepped and ready for entry, and then just locked.
Okay. So we heard this position I'm in, and then you froze.
Then I froze. Okay. Am I back?
Yes.
You back.
The position that you are in right now, did you find it a position to easily acquire, or was it difficult for you to get to where you are now? And is this your final position? Like, is this your position where you're going to stay where you're at?
Well, I want to answer it backwards. I'm not in the same position I was a year ago. 2 months ago.
Amen.
Right? Like, things are consistently changing, and I'm having to grow into who I'm becoming, right? And so Darnell Moore said something, we were there actually, Titan. He talked about, like, people talk a lot about becoming, but they don't talk about the unbecoming, right? So there are a lot of things that I've had to unbecome to step into the community who I needed myself to be. And so, no, I'm definitely not in my final position, because I didn't envision myself here. And I also, in terms of like acquiring this space, I think it's important to acknowledge that like your learning comes from different places all the time, and you have to be really connected and centered around that. I want to be my best self at any moment, and that best self, if I'm like being honest with myself, there were many times where my best self was terrible, but I needed my best self to be bad. Right. If I didn't experience those things, if I didn't go through those things both publicly and privately, I would not be here. There are just some things that I could not have known. I think about some of the public spats I've had on social media and like in community, that if that did not happen, if I didn't humble myself, if I didn't get clear around finances, if I didn't get clear around how to manage and how to deal with people, how to secure and curate relationships, it would be no way I could sit over a federal grant. Period.
Indeed.
Right? And so there were some moments where I didn't even know where my position was or how I was or what way I was moving, but it was all intentional as long as I was clear that it was about the learning and it was about the growing and it was about the blossoming. And so, no, if this is my final space, then I hope and I'm not dying, but I hope that means that I'm dying soon, because I got a lot to do. It's a lot of work, and the work continues. So definitely not at my final position.
Indeed. Okay. You better. All right, doctor. Come talk to me.
Repeat the question again, because I got so engulfed in what Ian was saying.
So what is your position? Was the position that you're in now, was it easy to acquire? And then also, is this your final position? Is this where you're going to, as Ian stated, rest?
That's a good question. Well, no, definitely I'm not done. I believe we're all evolving, and we should be evolving. I don't think any of us, I don't care how old you are, will ever settle in to that final phase. I think there's always room for growth. There's always room to learn and adapt to the situation or season. My journey getting to where I am now, this current position, it was extremely difficult because, to be great, you got to go through great stuff, great trial, great tribulations, because all that stuff sharpens you and prepares you for greatness. I don't think anybody will get to the zenith of what they're supposed to do just by walking through the roses. You're going to get pricked by some thorns. some stuff is going to happen that's not only going to humble you, but make you realize that you are vulnerable. You know, you are human. You are not above anybody else. And I think that oftentimes people get this elitist mindset that they have arrived. And I don't think any of us ever arrive. You know, we may get in that pinnacle in the moment, like right now, all the lights are on us and we're on the stage and we give them the best Beyonce, but that curtain is going to close. It's going to have to reopen again. You know, they might reopen to an empty arena because nobody's featuring you. And we all know that especially the Black gay community is super fickle, you know, and we will be done with something in a minute. So to get to where I am today, this current position, I did have to learn myself to be able to handle where I was going to end up. I didn't know what doors I was going to go through. Whatever God opened for me and I walked into, I had to make sure that I was mentally, spiritually, and emotionally ready, because some doors behind there was a lot of opposition. People didn't want to hear what I had to say, you know, and then some doors you go through, there's just choir members. You're talking to the same people. And it's like, I know y'all know this, but I got to share it anyway because the grant says I got to tell y'all about HIV. We already know about HIV, Dante. I'm like, I know, but I got to do it anyway. You know, so it's like you go through these ebbs and flows on your journey. So like Ian said, as we evolve and as we continue to cultivate who we are as individuals, we're never really going to land at that prime spot, because if we do, then like Ian said, we're on our way out. You know, We're on our way out. And I love to learn. So I'm always learning. And with learning comes that evolve.
Yeah. And I just want to add, you know, this just like set in my spirit real quick. People think that just because your valleys are above sea level, that they're not low. Like you will always go through these moments, right?
You
like,
preach. That's a word right there. That's a word.
You will always go through these moments, no matter how high you get. And it's really like life teaching you, right? It's really like teaching you and bringing back to your memory and your recognition of how vulnerable you are. And I would also argue how human, right?
Yes.
How human you are. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Because I did my doctoral journey in the midst of a pandemic, you know, and civil unrest. So a lot of my learning, I learned more just through those experiences. I'm getting a doctorate. I got a doctorate in global leadership as people are storming the Capitol. You know,
right.
You know, and it's like, how do professors educate about that kind of situation? Y'all talking about what's happening in the world. I'm like, no, sis, let's talk about what's happening in DC right now. You know, they are storming the Capitol and we're sitting here in class talking about global leadership. Let's talk about national leadership. You know, let's talk about the fact that we have so much civil unrest in communities of color. Let's talk about the fact that George Floyd was killed in the manner that he was. Let's talk about that. You know, let's talk about a pandemic, you know, that just swept through and knocked us on our ass. You know, so I'm trying to get this doctorate degree in the midst of all that. So that was my biggest growth spurt. Having to navigate the school system as a Black man in a broken America, you know, but was learning about everything un-American. It was just a mess. It was a mess. I mean, thank God I got it, but that journey sharpened me and opened my eyes to how many layers of oppression we as Black people go through.
Right.
You know, we got, like I said earlier, we got the color, we got the sexual orientation, we got the gender, then we got the HIV status. You know, then we got the socioeconomic stuff, you know, poverty and all that kind of stuff. It is so much going on. And I think trying to evolve in the midst of all that confusion is going to shape you and it's going to sharpen you, but it can't break you, because a lot of folks, they don't get better, they get bitter. You know, and they get real toxic. They get real hard because they get this, it's never going to change mentality. Well, if we all get that mentality, then it's not going to change. We're going to be in the same rut. But somebody has to remain optimistic.
Indeed. Okay. Yeah, y'all better. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Okay. Because I thought I had froze. Okay. So all right. So that's gonna lead me right into my next question. Yeah, gentlemen, y'all are doing the dang on thing here. Look, so name 3 people, dead or alive, that exhibit position. Name 3 people dead or alive, that exhibit position. And if you don't have three, that's fine. You can name as many as you want. You can name one, but dead or alive that exhibit to you what position was or is.
Black.
Black.
Okay.
It's Black History Month. Let's go with it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go with it.
Okay. Ian?
No, I went first every single time.
Boy, that doctor loves saying Ian, though.
My first one is Bayard Rustin.
Okay.
You know, Bayard Rustin is one of my favorite leaders because he did all that he did. He did all that he did behind the scenes.
Yes.
You know, I mean, he is the reason we had the civil rights movement. He is the reason we had the marches. He is the reason that MLK was MLK. Right, you know, but so many people do not even know what he did, what he contributed because of his sexual orientation. So I can look at him and it motivates me, reminds me of the fact that as long as the work gets done, you know, and that takes a level of humility that most people don't have because everybody wants to be on the stage, but they don't realize it's a lot of work behind the stage for that one individual to shine. And Bayard poured so much of himself into the movement so that the movement would not get lost by people that was doubting his ability because he was gay.
Gotcha.
So he's one of my favorite historical figures. That's just that's one.
And I'll match you one so you can think. My first one will be Lil Nas X. I just I think about like all of the queer artists that have come in our past, and we had a lot, right? We had a lot that got him to the place where he could really break out and be a mainstream, really pop superstar on the cool, right? And there were a lot, but I just think, and I've had this conversation with people, it's not because I'm a millennial that I'm just like so pro Lil Nas X. I think he was just really in position, right? I think about Lil Richard, and anybody know me knows I watched that interview on BBC where he was so high talking about let it all hang out. It's my favorite video in the world. I watch it once or twice a week. And but I look at him and I listen to the interviewer asking him, well, are you shy? Right. And Lil Richard, knowing what he's saying and hearing the nuance in this white man's voice, asking about him putting on makeup. You know, you're supposed to wear makeup. You're supposed to butter your toast, all that kind of foolishness, right? And I think about like Little Richard, and then I think about like, Sylvester, and the list goes on and on and on. But there was this weird space where I could be so gay, whatever that means, whether that looks like being effeminate or dressing flamboyantly or wearing makeup or whatever the case may be. But I could be all those things. But the moment you ask me, if you ask me that as I'm building my superstardom, then I backtrack in many cases. That is what I've seen in the past. And so Lil Nas X just like really, I know I realized he did do it after he had Old Town Road, but like Old Town Road was supposed to be like this one hit wonder. And then he goes on to be bigger than Old Town Road. So it's just like he was really in position because of all of these people that had to say no or had to not answer the question. Think about like Andre Leon Talley. I know I'm saying like 5 people right now, but like I think about like Andre Leon Talley, who would never really concretely say I'm a Black queer person. I'm a Black gay man, right? And I understand like all the nuances, but like all these people built it up for Lil Nas X to be in position to be openly queer and like unapologetically queer and all of this that he is. So he was definitely somebody in position.
Okay, come on, position. All right, gentlemen, we're gonna take a pause for the pause. We're gonna pay some bills real quick. Kwame, go ahead and roll that beautiful bean footage. had to take me a little sip. Had to take a sip. I was like, yes, y'all got me over here like, what? Now, you know what? I'm not going to say that I want to do this in the car every time, but it's something about tonight, this little
because you're forcing us to talk, because you keep freezing.
Right. Thank God we here. I mean,
you know what? And you sure right. So let's go. Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead on and move on real quick. Kwame, let's go ahead and let's ponder some HIV. Okay, so gentlemen, y'all are probably going to answer the question. I know we haven't got back to the name 3 people dead or alive yet, but I think you may answer this in this part here. So with Pondering HIV, I started doing a segment about HIV, and I thought about my position. And as a Black gay male who's thriving with HIV, in the beginning, my position was not a good one with my HIV status, right? Now I can tell you what my position is because I'm strong in my status and knowing my position and knowing where, knowing what my purpose is, right? Between the two of you, can you both tell me what has been your position on HIV, or what position did HIV put you in?
So that's a good one. You know, I've shared this a couple times, but I think I'll share it in a different way this time. You know, I owe my life to HIV activists, people living with HIV, simply because it is absolutely and purely luck that I'm not living with HIV. I don't know how I was blessed to be gifted with birth in a generation of PrEP. PrEP happened for me in 2015. So 2015, that was, 6 years ago. I was, 7 years ago. I was still in my late 20s. So the fact that I had made it that far, being such a whore and prostitute, it's just phenomenal to me. And so I owe a lot of the work that I do to people living with HIV, because the reality is, even though I was not living with HIV, there was nobody that believed that, right? Every test I went to take was proof. And so, I look at, I hate reading my statuses from 10 years ago, but I read my statuses and my memories on Facebook from 10 years ago, and I see myself posting my updated result every 3 months. Every 3 months, I get a new updated result, and I'm so disgusted by it, in the idea of feeling like I had to report that, but I really did, because there was nobody that ever believed I was not living with HIV because of what I was doing sexually. And so it's put me in an interesting position. My friend told me something that, recently, and she said, I think people listen to you because there is this freedom, this liberation, if you would, that comes with you speaking about sex so freely that people living with HIV feel like they can never attain. But because people already have stigmatized you around your sex, your sexuality, it's like, if this person can go through that type of persecution locally, then it gives me hope that stigma can be eradicated in my life. And so I think it's put me in a prime position to really be able to, now that I have the strength and the fortitude, to really dispel myths and to help eradicate and eliminate stigma.
You know what? Whenever it happens, I'm gonna have both of y'all on the same stage, and both of y'all gonna have a microphone. Okay. All right. What about you, Dante?
I think that's one of the things I love about Ian, because he sheds light on people who are not living with HIV and the importance of their presence in the fight. because it becomes so often that it's a room full of people living with HIV, beating the door down and yada, yada, yada. But we need allies. And we also need to let people know that if you don't have HIV, we applaud you as well. You know, we don't want you to contract HIV, but we've created such a framework and a system that only those living with the virus are glorified. And we have to shift that narrative. So I was diagnosed in 1999, and to be honest, I don't know anything else outside of it. I can remember my life pre-HIV. It was totally different. Of course, I was in my 20s. I mean, I had a 32-inch waist. She was snatched. I mean, now I'm 50. So it's the look is different. The look is different, but because of my status is why I got involved in the work, why I got involved with raising awareness within the Black community, because for the longest time, I thought I was the only Black with HIV. Mm-hmm. Because every group I was sent to, every place I was referred to for care, it was white ran, white owned, white facilitators, white everything. I wasn't introduced to the Black side of the fight. And I think that, come on, Sylvester, listen, snatched. I pumped back then.
Okay, anorexic in the waist. Okay.
Right, now I walk real slow and careful.
So you don't topple over.
Right, nothing is getting dropped because nothing is hot. It's all lukewarm. But so HIV, my status, my diagnosis, it put me in position to empathize with those who are newly diagnosed and need to best understand how to live with it. How to navigate the healthcare system, how to have understanding of what's going on with your body, and most importantly, how to engage in relationships. Because I kid you not, and I think most can relate to this. I swore I was never going to have sex again. When I was diagnosed, I said, oh, that's it. I don't trust nobody. I don't want to infect nobody. Oh my goodness, sex is out the window. And I was all of what, 20, 27, 28. So it's like, but I realized that I was going to have sex again. Right. Lots. And it's all about how you understand what your body is dealing with. And I tell people all the time, dating someone living with HIV is a great decision if you're dating someone that is knowledgeable about what they're living with. Right. Because me being an HIV advocate, activist, educator, I know how to do everything possible to keep you from getting infected. And you will have the best experience in the bedroom imaginable. Because I know what to do with a body. I know what to do to keep you from being exposed. I know all of that. Outside of you equals you, but I know that. So if you're people, they fear serodiscordant relationships. It's like, I'm only going to date someone that's HIV negative. Why are you limiting yourself? Right. So you'd rather date an HIV negative person that's going to wear your credit out and beat you upside the head than someone living with HIV that's going to love you eternally. So go ahead, Ian.
I just want to interject and answer the question, because these bitches don't want to have an honest conversation.
I mean, lean in, Ian. Let's talk about it. Lean in. Let's talk about it.
They don't want to have an honest conversation around condomless sex.
They don't.
And that's the impasse that people come to, right?
Right.
If you're really talking about it, you don't want to date or be around somebody that's living with HIV or a serodiscordant relationship where you're negative, right? Because you don't want to have an honest conversation about the fact that you're not going to use a condom.
Right. And me and Ian talked about that on my show once. Oh, Ty, we forgot this your show, huh? You want to come back in?
No. Y'all go ahead.
Me and Ian had this when we first met, and we were on a show together, and Ian, the subject was condomless sex. And I was sitting there clutching my pearls like, oh my God, because as an HIV educator, we are trained and conditioned condom. But when Ian started talking, I had to unlearn everything that had been beat into me, and say, well, that does make sense, and why are we shaming folks for not wanting to use a condom? So therefore, if you don't want to use a condom, then let's educate about HIV. You equals you, PrEP, all that kind of stuff. So you ain't got to worry about no condom. Let's talk about this. But we don't do it. We just don't do it. So Ian changed my whole thought process on condomless sex and how we should have conversations about that, because that is the root of it all. My status is irrelevant to you. You just want to bust raw.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what? And I'm going to say this, though, because, my brother knows. Baby, Ian has upset many of spaces and places, and I love it. I love it. What? We all do it. We all do it. I'll never forget. One time, I'm gonna say this real quick, and then we're gonna move on to this final thought. But I was sitting in the audience, and they asked Ian a question, and Ian just rolled his eyes. He normally does. He was like, and they was like, "Well, what, Ian? Y'all want to F raw? Yeah, that's what y'all want to do. That's what." And baby, the whole audience went up in an uproar. But the reality of it is that we don't want to talk about that. That's why you gentlemen are in a.
Oh,
It's the comic relief.
You know what? I'm finna ask this last question so y'all can have this final thought, and I'm gonna be quiet. I know it's my show, but I'm gonna be quiet. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking about position tonight, and I just want to thank my guests for coming on. I know that we are winding down on the show, but I want my guests to have the final thought. I would like for Donta to go first with his final thought about position or anything that he wants to state to you all. And then Ian has a special announcement that he's going to make. So I would like for him to go last to go ahead and close it out. Donta is the doctor, but Ian is the pastor. So that's how we're going to do that.
It's whatever. I'm in position to receive.
Yes. Okay.
All right. So I mean, this is for me, it was a great conversation. I think anytime we're able to come together and elevate our thought process is a phenomenal thing, especially when it's Black men having healthy discourse. And then we incorporate sex into it. Now, we could have really just dug into sex, but being in position, know your power, know your strength, and know where you belong. And you may not have a large audience, you may not have a large following, but power and position, it ties into quality over quantity. Okay. If you are influencing or changing the lives of 5 people, forget the 495 that ain't gonna pay you no attention, because that's a waste of your energy. That's a waste of your time. Focus on those whose lives you can impact and affect. It's not always about numbers. It's not always about followers. It's not always about likes. It is about your impact upon an individual. And we begin to think about that. We'll look at our positions totally different and realize that we have been positioned to do a work. And let's stay focused on that work that we have been positioned to do. So that is my closing thoughts. Hey, check out the Donta Show every Monday and Tuesday on Facebook Live and YouTube. Boom, 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 boom. I'll come on tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Just, another Pyro Media broadcast show. But check us out. Support me. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. TikTok, my old ass. The Donta Show on TikTok, on Instagram, Facebook. Check me out. Let's ride this through. And Sylvester, let me say this. We don't all do it, Sylvester. I am saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled, and fire baptized. I use condoms only in the name of
Mary.
Jesus Christ. Sylvester. Just gonna say that. Let me clutch this real quick. So what's your announcement, sis?
People want to play. No. Good evening. No, this has been cool. I really always love being with my brother. Both of these are my brothers, so I'm definitely always interested in anything dope, Black, and gay. Tonight, I am in position to tell y'all that we are doing something really special. We've been doing a program with the Normal Anomaly Initiative, where I serve as the founder and executive director, called Project Liberate. Project Liberate is a 6-month cohort to develop nonprofits and businesses. And we have some awesome mentors and facilitators that have been working through that. And we're going to launch these businesses or relaunch these businesses at a festival on April 30th. It's called the Black Queer as Fuck Festival here in
Houston. My God.
Yes.
And it's super
God ain't in that.
Yeah.
All over it.
Lots of entertainment, lots of activities. It's going to be a whole mood, a whole weekend. And we will be putting tickets on sale very soon, within the next 2 weeks. and super affordable. Everything is going to make sense, and I can't believe this is happening. But I wanted to announce this first here before we were even putting anything out in the press, because one, I believe in what we're doing, and plus we got contracts signed, so pay it. And then two, I also want to just uplift that Titan is a part of our business cohort.
Yes.
So congratulations, Titan. And Sylvester is also a part of the cohort. Tonight, there's an event with another liberator, which is what we call the people in our cohort, called Art Ho. That's going on right now for National Black HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. And so, I mean, we're really building infrastructure here in Houston to change the game around what community mobilizing looks like and community power looks like by building resources.
Come on. Look, ladies and gentlemen.
By the way, so the girls can know that even though I suck dick and talk about sucking dick well, it's not the only thing I can do.
Baby, look. Now I know Sylvester was speaking about something else, but we all do it. You know, they say be a cook in the kitchen, a lady in the streets. Anyways, look. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for tuning in tonight. I want to thank my special guest. We talked about position. What is your position, right? What is your position? Sometimes your position is to be the friend. It's to be the loved one. Sometimes your position is to be the one that hypes the other person up, right? And sometimes your position is to be able to go ahead and have some education and have some knowledge and things like that, right? All of our positions are different, but we're all in the fight together. We're all African American, Black. We are gay, queer, whatever you may want to call it at that point. But we all have a common denominator, which we all are in position to do. And so I want to thank my guests, my gentlemen, my kings, the doctor, the executive director, always Ian L Haddock, and the doctor Donta Morrison. Now, did he freeze?
No, I got good signal.
Okay. Look, Donta. Before we go, I was trying to pin it on somebody else.
Right. I just bought a pose.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in for these Black Kings that we have. Y'all celebrate Black History Month. Know your Black history, all of your Black history, right? Because it's all Black history. Your LGBTQIA Black history, all of that. Know that. Donta spoke on the founders, spoke on people that had a movement. Ian spoke on people that are in the movement right now that are doing it. So y'all go out and check that out. I want to thank you all for blessing me tonight. Shout out to Project Liberate. Shout out to my liberators out there. I see Sylvester down in the comments, and I know a couple other things are going on.
I said, all you get is 2 minutes, baby.
And on that note, right, on that note, let the church say amen.
Come back. You know what? You so right. Go ahead, Donta. Go ahead. Hit it.
Let the church say amen. God has spoken. Okay. So let the church say amen.
Bless God.